Hello Sagittarius, we're going to do your weekly reading for week beginning April 12th and 13th. Now, please note, all time is fluid. Depending on where you find yourself on the timeline, listening to this is exactly when you are meant to, okay? So it might be a message that helps you solidify and clarify what happened last week, last month, in order for you to head towards healing. It might be a heads up, preparatory kind of message to prepare you for something that might be happening in the next few weeks. You know, it all really depends. So all time is fluid. I also encourage everyone to check out their zodiac placements. You are more than just your sun sign as Sagittarius. You also have a moon sign, how you deal with your emotions. If your emotions are needing healing and clarity at this time, if you're trying to understand a connection, go check out your Venus sign, how you relate, how you connect, what you're looking for in love, and perhaps why it might not be panning out, or whatever the case may be. If you're working with manifestation and growth, if you're struggling with change and transformation, check out your Jupiter sign, because that's where you will find a key to the energies that best align to you and work within you. So, if the sun was in Sagittarius at the time of your birth, it too offers key messages about your core self. I fondly like to also refer to it as our soul learning, our wisdom, our deeper core, you know, because how we present to the world is represented by our rising sign or our ascendant. It's the face we comfortably show others, and it may be nothing to do with who you are on the inside, you know, and a lot of people might be shocked at your true essence within. You know, you might be quite intuitive and reserved on the outside. You might be a water sign on the outside, you know, but deep inside you are Sagittarius. You are the eternal fire, like the fire signs. You are seeking adventure and vistas bigger than where you ever are, you know, and wherever you find yourself in your life, you're always seeking something more, something more expanded than what life has perhaps offered. So let's check out your weekly theme, my dear. Energy balance. Did you get this last time? I think you did. I'm just trying to remember. Maybe you're perhaps still working with these themes, okay? But I'll go over it. Now, there is no right or wrong when it comes to and I fundamentally don't believe that we are always we should be positively vibing high, and to be spiritual always means to be in balance and to operate up in these realms. That's not the case, you know. Life continually offers us opportunities to oscillate and move, which is exactly how energy moves within us. It is always traveling, you know. It never stops or ends. It's just continually changing form. So to say that we are always or should be at peace or always should remain positive, I personally believe that that's fundamentally not right. I think our biggest challenge is stagnancy, and judgment, and seeing that any state is better or less than. Sure, higher states, peace, joy, feel better. We are naturally vibrating higher. But there is wisdom in all of it. And I'm not being challenged up here if I'm continually living up here either, like to experience that complete dissonance, that cognitive dissonance, and my mind expands and I see things from a whole new way. It is the eternal wisdom that we are gaining, because if we knew everything and didn't have to, you know, we wouldn't be here. So it's this eternal learning, the eternal teacher. That is life, that is our energy field, our system, our energetic responses to our experience and the connections in our life. So I could be talking to Sagittariuses that are wanting to feel more in balance, that are connecting more deeply into the wisdom that these centers are offering them. There is a light and a shadow to all of them, okay? Experiences that we're currently dealing with is in the front of the energy system. Past experiences are in the back, yeah? And then all the multi-dimensional points in between tell a story too. I like to call them access points and gateways to the dimensional aspects of ourself. Who I am when my children are threatened, when my livelihood and safety is threatened, when I'm operating from a shadow or a negative aspect of the base chakra, is going to be a very, very different person than when I'm operating from these realms here in the light aspect. Does that make me better or less than? No, it just reflects that I have multi-dimensional aspects that are all true. True at every single point in the timeline, given the alchemy of circumstances, conditions, people involved, wisdom that I'm learning and integrating. Yeah. You better believe it. A mother that is protecting her children can be just as beautiful and nurturing in this heart space while she's breastfeeding. But by golly gosh, if you come in and try and hurt that baby, you're going to get something raw and real, yeah? There is no right or wrong to this thing. It is continually moving. That's what energy is for. And if anything, if our highest aspirations, speaking of children, can be that we embody energy, emotions, thoughts, everything, the way in which a toddler does, then that's freedom. Because it moves so quickly through them, yeah? Then they're not stagnating. That tantrum lasts, well, let's be real, tantrums can last quite a while sometimes. But at the end of that day, is that child holding a grudge? It's adults that remember. You know, it's adults that perhaps give themselves less freedom when it comes to release, when it comes to integration, when it comes to, okay, is this still serving a purpose for me because my mood has shifted now? Am I saying that's healthy? Well, you know, it's neither here nor there, but if we're struggling with the energy we're housing, holding, balancing, then perhaps that's just my personal belief, as I like to think. I think sometimes if our biggest challenge is emotional stagnation, thought repetition, and continually feeling like we're stuck in a loop, then the greatest guides we can have are perhaps our children that teach us it's important to focus on the simplistic things in life. It's important to just honour emotions for what they are in the moment and allow them to move like the clouds and to flow through us like a river, you know, our thoughts and our emotions. There's a lot of beautiful energy, balance and healing, harmony that Sagittarius may find this week when it comes to their practices of yoga and meditation and doing really anything that makes you feel in balance. You know, I very rarely take time out to consciously meditate these days. I do it throughout my day. So, and the more we engage that level of the more we engage and teach our mind to switch off and not absorb energy, not be influenced by external energy, the quicker energy actually moves through us, the quicker we can dilute, transmute and release so that we don't stay stuck. So quite often I'll be going for a drive, I will be hanging out laundry, and just for that moment, just for that time, just for me, I will use that time to switch off all outside influence and connect to center. So we're all different in our own way, Saggy, okay? So, but by all means, I will always be the first one to encourage anyone to connect in and practice meditation as frequently as possible. I've definitely been known to use it for journeying, so I can meditate for hours on end and use it as a healing tool, as a guidance tool to explore past lives, remote viewing of timelines. So I'm more than happy to meditate for hours. And how you feel after that, holy goodness. The more you meditate too, the less sleep you need. Naturally, because we're teaching our brain quite frequently to operate in rest mode, to operate on the deeper, theta levels as well. We're teaching our brain that we don't have to be on that high alert mode all the time. So I don't know why I feel like I need to talk at length to you about meditation. But that card invites you into the practice of whatever energy balance means for you. Sometimes energy balance is just forgetting about the stress of our bills and going and playing and laughing with children, or connecting in and having a conversation with someone that, raises our vibration. It's about raising our vibration if we're feeling stuck. It's about acceptance that, we're allowed to feel a little bit down today because we're processing and stuff. There's wisdom in this feeling, this state of mind, But it's about choosing not to remain stagnant. 9 of Swords. 2 of Wands. Wow, you want to know a lot, don't you? 5 of Swords underneath all this. No, sorry, Knight of Swords, I should say. Sometimes I talk so fast because I'm channeling, and it's all just coming out, and then I'll say the card's wrong name, or I'll say a card that I had already seen, so Knight of Swords. I'll talk through these two as well. Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles in the past, Six of Pentacles ahead, Queen of Wands, that's you, High Priestess above, Ace of Wands. I love how your reading is forming. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, I get it, and I know in the last couple of weeks it's been about this for you, yeah? At the base of all of this, the challenges, whatever you're feeling, processing, whatever needed to be balanced, okay? In the last couple of weeks, I do, and I'm going to say 2 weeks. So what I've been doing these videos for a few weeks now, and I do know that there's some deeper stuff that's been needing to process for Sagittarius is out there that I'm connecting into. It was all about connecting into this wisdom within, yeah? So I see the last 2 weeks has been this process of thoughts that aren't ultimately nourishing. It's you really in your head about something, and it was about balancing that, okay? Connection, person, experience, current reality. You were really in your head about it, and it wasn't good for you, okay? What you wanted to feel was optimistic, and then there was nothing in sight, you know? It's like, I just need some evidence of it, you know? Why should I? It's all well and good for someone like me to be telling you, just think positive thoughts, because that's not realistic. That's what I was talking about before, you know? It's not realistic to say, hey, vibe higher, that's not good. It's not about that. We have to fundamentally connect into the shadow aspects of ourselves to truly know what our light is, yeah? So I do see there was some late nights here, there's stresses and anxiety, this is feeling like we can't sleep, this is insomnia, this is definitely at its basic being in our head about something. And you know what, collectively, sure thing, that's the reality for most people, you know? We don't know where the money's going to be coming from, we've lost jobs, our whole lives have changed in many ways, but I do see here, for the most part, Sagittarius has felt like they had little to feel optimistic about, especially the way you were viewing things from, you know, from the mind level. But this changes this week, I do want to say. This is where you currently are. You're coming out of that. You might even be coming out of this, because this crosses you. You're starting to choose. Okay, you are balancing. You have balanced in your own beautiful, unique way, and that's all that matters. Okay, something has come in. You can feel it. You probably can't see it yet. It's not quite the Three of Wands, but you put an intention out there. You applied for a job. You made a request. Regardless of whatever the situation fundamentally represents for you, there was wisdom in, because this was almost an ending. Something has come to an end, an experience, a chapter, I might have to put my phone on pause. Stop it, guys. Don't bark. Hold on. Stop it. Come here. Come on. Sorry. You know, it could have been a situation, a circumstance, and that's the case for many in the last 2 to 3 weeks too, okay? So I do see whatever has almost come to an end or has come to an end has kept you up, okay? And I do want to say that there's a couple of different Sagittarius I'm speaking to. Whatever made you feel like this in the past, it was an offer that ultimately sets your path moving forward. And I know when stuff feels dark like this, we can't quite see it, yeah? But the shift, the change happened for a reason in order for you to identify what you want moving forward. I probably didn't want it anyway. That circumstances, that job wasn't exactly my perfect ideal. What you were more focused on is something more stable, more practical, more... I just feel like I'm talking to a Sagittarius that whatever this negative experience was that made you feel like this, it has paved the path for something entirely, like something new is what I want to say. It actually feels really good, the reading. This is the only heavy one, all right? And you already sense it, love. You already sense it. You may not be able to see it, but on a heart level, You've connected in with that creative energy, right? That creative energy is transformative energy. It is the choice to obtain your divine right to create change within your life, regardless of what's happened, regardless of the decisions of others, regardless of circumstances that are handed to you. There is a creative spark in all of us to activate that divine fire within, which is transformational energy, yeah? That's how we create change. So when something is not acknowledged, nothing happens. It stagnates, it keeps repeating. But when we acknowledge and then go, that's not what I want, this is actually what I want. And even if that decision is out of our control, there's still a free will point in the timeline when we can say that's not how I want to feel anymore, because ultimately what I'm looking for is this, and I still choose to have faith. That's what I'm working with here. When I see this, you can't see it yet, but you know on a heart-based level you've activated something from the base of your primal being too, because there's a lot of red here. You've shifted out of fear and you've decided to be optimistic and put something out there. You've applied for a job, you put a request out. Despite something not working out, I'm going to go ahead and still try and pave my path. You are the archer. You bow and arrow, how far that goes is up to you, and you first must take that, must make that, and you've done that. I feel like you've made a decision, you've done some form of action that shifted you out of this, and I felt strongly like I needed to tell you, whatever happened in the past, if a business or workplace had to shut down, it was all for a higher purpose. Maybe it wasn't ever going to lead to this. Maybe where you are now is leading to good stuff, I'm telling you. There was a higher wisdom at play, and everything ended, transformed, shaped, developed exactly as it needed for you to reach this level of wisdom within yourself. And like you are charging forward towards this, embodying the energy of the Queen of Coins, okay? There's two queens on the table here, okay? So you might even be connecting into another female, you might be connecting in, this story might be relevant between you and another, okay? You are charging forward towards your own sense of security, your own sense of tangibility. When it comes to whatever is of value to you, you've got a lot to offer, okay? And if something didn't quite work out, job, experience, relationship, if something didn't quite work out, it was for a reason, because it was not of the same of what you are. I know you're a fire sign, okay? But what you're wanting, because this is your crowning, okay? This energy crowns you. The Queen of Pentacles, she is tangible. She doesn't just walk the talk. She walks the talk, yeah? She produces sustenance or things of value that are long-standing, that are reliable, and she just wants someone to meet her there. Maybe that job, maybe that circumstance, maybe that connection was never going to be at your level or of the same frequency. And maybe we found ourselves in this continual loop that made us feel like this, because I just don't know how to make ends meet. And it could be in anything. Money, connection, connecting, relating, can definitely be about money. Like maybe I'm talking to Sagittarius, like, what am I going to do? I've just lost everything. But what you were wanting is something consistent, long-standing anyway. You wanted something tangible, and you can feel it. You've put it out there, okay? I do want to say it's very much rushing in. Whatever you have put out there, wish fulfillment, love. I see love on the table here, and that's also a love of life, okay? But career, definitely, finances, they are all here. Whatever you've put out there on a heart-based level in faith, by accessing your creative spark within, is coming. What's likely to happen next is equal reciprocity. This is landing the job. This is meeting the mirror of what you are willing to put forward, a connection, anything. Okay? If something didn't feel tangible, if life didn't offer you back what you were looking for, it's coming very, very quickly. This is securing that job. This is finding a connection that actually is equal reciprocity. Now, when the coins are practical, I'm running around and doing things for you just as much as you're running around doing things for me. This is equal give and take. It's not costing me anything to be in this experience. I'm finding a job that gives me back the exact dollar amount that I am worth. You know, it's equal reciprocity. The scales are balanced. There was a lesson here you've learned and integrated. See that? That's karma. You've learned something from whatever it is you've come from. Okay? But in order to truly give, we have to have our tank full. Our energy must be balanced and full. We cannot give from an empty tank. And that's what this lesson has been about. Money or otherwise, okay? Don't beat yourself up on project and financial goals you can't quite meet because, you know, life wasn't offering you opportunity in order to get those coins together, as an example. Don't beat yourself up for always falling into connection roles. And that applies to anything. Love, friendships, everything. Don't beat yourself up for continually finding yourself in these repeat patterns when life never truly presented you with equal reciprocity, equal mirror. Feeling like I had to... Because these are two different nights. You've always been sure of what you wanted. You're very clear, you know, and you're very clearly moving away from what you no longer want anyway. State of being, person, connection, old ways, old world, old job. You are seeking this stability and balance, but you know you will just keep moving like that. This is not Sagittarius energy, but that is Sagittarius energy. See this? I'm out of here. If it doesn't resonate, that's what you've learned. And you've known this since you were a young child. But as we get old, we settle. As we get old, we play the rules of the world. As we get old, we settle into connections that are, they're just there. And we're just there. But you, my love, you're connecting into you and who you are. This is you. She is on fire. She is creative, life force, sensuality, creativity. She turns heads. She is the sun. She is life force. She is what sunflowers turn to for energy, inspiration, and sustenance. She's protected by her black cat, which is, for you, the wisdom of all of that shit that was keeping you up. You are protected by the wisdom of that. If at one time lessons, wisdoms were hard to integrate and be embodied by you, you shift that. You have done this. I feel like you've done this in the last 2 weeks, and it might not even be permeating clearly within your conscious, but your subconscious is speaking very clearly in many ways, because you will have sudden drive, Sagittarius. You will have sudden impulses and desires to suddenly cut away connections, cut away and just think clearly, you know what, I never liked that job anyway. You know what, all I was looking for was something like this. You know what, I've been wanting this time at home so I can truly get cracking on a creative project, whatever the case may be. Your subconscious will speak to you in cryptic ways, okay? Not just in dream state, not just intuitively, like each of us is different. But you will have new drives, new purpose, new passion, new ignition of a creative spark and drive to pave this path towards security. So financial security is big for you. I see this in many ways, and I feel like there's been shifts and integrations and changes when it comes to that. But you are intuitively guided. Life has intuitively guided you towards yourself. Look at this. This is your divine essence. This is your higher self. Your higher self, your wisdom has been guiding you towards connections, people, pathways, whether they remain careers, whether they remain or not. They have formed the foundations and the etches and sketches that have ultimately shaped you into who you are today, who you are growing into, and who you are embodying. Look at I can't make this stuff up. The Ace of Wands, it was a gift. Ever as dark as it was a gift, and it has taught you what you wanted, what you will no longer miss out on, what you will not take for granted, what you will quickly move towards when you see it because you know it, what you will no longer tolerate and move away from because you can see it's going to cost me some karma here because I'm replaying old storylines. You know what you're moving towards? a zest, an intuitive connection to your higher self. This is a divine gift. Look at what you're moving towards. These cards speak for themselves, Saggy. I'm definitely speaking to Sagittarius that are connecting into a new connection after difficulty with transitioning and processing an old. This is you. You are embodying her. You've activated the energy this week. It's been activating for the last 2 weeks. This is a higher self version of you. The High Priestess presents to us. She represents Cancer or Scorpio, yes. But this is about embodying higher wisdom, being wise because of not just the light of your path and your experience and what you've learned, but the dark too. You're integrating. You are pillared by both truths. There is no higher self without both the light and shadow. We walk the line to truly integrate them both. We can't always be vibing high. That's not true. You know, that there's wisdom in the shadows. Both of these are potent spiritual pillars. You know, you look back on history that goes back thousands upon thousands of years. The dark arts is a very spiritual practice, no different to the light arts. There is no good or bad. There is a balance in both. And the alchemical fire of the twin flame process, just in my humble opinion, happens internally. We must alchemize the shadow and light aspects of self within. They must unite in order for us to reach our highest potential. And you know what that happens after that? Life then becomes a mirror. Everything has been called in thanks to our highest wisdom. People, places, experiences are all there to reflect wherever we're currently vibrating at, Sagittarius, because they are mirrors. We are mirroring, they are mirroring. Whatever you've walked away from is a shadow aspect in many ways that you have successfully integrated, I want to say, because you're walking in the pillars now, okay? It was a divine gift. This is the spark of a new connection, a spark of a creative force. This is a gift. Take this gift and watch what happens and what you can create from it. There is a connection here. The Two of Cups is the beginning of a relationship. It is also the reignition of an existing one. It's also definitions around truly getting raw and real with ourselves in here. This is just my personal interpretation as a tarot reader of the Two of Cups. We cannot experience, we can never experience emotional harmony, which is what this is, right? It is emotional unity, understanding, because this is important to you. You're wanting emotional reciprocity, reflection, mirroring on an emotional level when it comes to you and another, you and your experience, you and your career, you and your creative project, you and your, it doesn't matter what it is. We must have that inside of us first before we experience that mirror. Something had to alchemize here. Something had to join within you, really come in together in order for you to truly birth something new. New way of looking at yourself, new way of looking at life, new way of experiencing love. And that same process manifests and draws in a new connection. That's what that is. Oh, this feels amazing because I felt your energy for the last 2 weeks. And it was sad and it was, I get it. It was very much like, come on, patience, we can do this, we can work through this. You know, I'm loving how the energies are reflecting week to week, you know, because I do monthlies as well. So I see the progression and everyone is progressing in some form. No one is truly stagnating for weeks on end, okay? So in the 3 weeks I've done 3 readings for you, there is progression. That is wisdom. That is growth. We're all still flowing. Energy's flowing, Saggy. This is about you connecting into the wisdom within, my dear. I'm on 29 minutes already. I can talk all day, clearly. Judgment. You heard the trumpet. You're closing a chapter. You heard the call. Everything has happened for a reason. Not everyone hears the call. You did. You did. Yeah, there's an offer of love coming. So for those where this is relevant, a new relationship is on its way to you. definitely a reignition within another, perhaps, within an existing. But this is you loving life again, fundamentally, okay? You've really integrated a deep wisdom here. It feels like it marries up to your monthly. The Strength card. Yes, because you are courageous. August is significant for you. An awakening. This is seeing things from your whole purpose, your path, yourself, your motivations, your actions, repeated patterns, karmic balancing, seeing yourself from a whole new way. You truly feel shifted. You're going to start, oh my God, these cards are ridiculous. The Nine of Cups, your wish fulfillment, feeling smug about life again. If you have done this, and you'll know it, Saggy, you'll know if you have done this. You will know if you're still repeating, still playing out karmic patterning. You'll know it if you haven't shifted, okay? Because this is an internal thing. Doesn't matter what's going on around us. Doesn't matter what people are reflecting back to us. It's about embracing the responsibility of choice to navigate our own path and activate our own divine life force to create a new way of experiencing self and life, thus experiencing connection. Oh, Ace of Cups. This is a reboot and refresh to your emotional body. You've retreated for a reason. You had to retreat. If you have, and I'm going to say for the last 4 weeks, Saggies have been retreating. Yeah. But there's this ignition that happens now, love. This is fire. When I do your reading in a few weeks' time, it's going to be about manifestation. I can keep going. This is ridiculously good. You will know if you've done this, okay? You will know if you've worked with the gift that this experience, I don't know if it goes back, might even go back 6 years, not even that far. 9 years for some of you. The last 2 weeks have been that back to the inner temple. Let's get authentic, let's get real. How have I created? What am I wanting to create moving forward? I hope this has helped. I love your reading. I love all the readings. We are all growing and glowing. It's a beautiful week, and it like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm doing readings for you next week and the week after, where you are working with manifestation energy. Yeah? Okay, so next week I'm not going to be doing the readings kicking off at the top of the zodiac. I'm actually going to do them based on the most interaction views and stuff like that, okay, Saggy? So if you like this, like it, subscribe, comment, all of the above. The videos that have the most interaction will be, the zodiacs that have the most interaction will be the pick of the litter, and I'll work from there, from the top down, okay? So it's not going to kick off at Aries, it'll kick off at the most viewed, most interacted, most watched. I think Virgo is at the moment. No, it could be Libra, actually, so you know what to do. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next week.